The most popular budgeting rule stops working the second you have kids, because now you've got daycare and activities and random expenses, and you're trying to build for your future while paying for theirs. I used that popular budget rule to go from $43,000 worth of debt to build a net worth of multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars, and it's called the 50-30-20 rule. 50% of your income is for need items, 30% of your income is for want items, and 20% of your income is for financial goals. And I'm really thankful for it, but once we had kids, it stopped working in the same way. So I rebuilt it into something that actually fits real life for parents, the 50-25-10-15 rule, and I'm really excited to jump into it. This really helped out. We've got 2 kids under 5, and quite honestly, this has helped me a lot. I've been working on this for like almost a year. So the first 50%, it's going to be the same thing. It's going to be your need items, okay? And this hasn't changed. This is everything that you have to pay to keep life going. So your rent or mortgage, utilities, groceries, insurance, transportation, Chipotle, the stuff that doesn't really feel optional. But here's what most people mess this up. Here's what happens. It's not that they don't know what the essentials are. It's that this category will quietly grow over time without us really realizing it, because we get a raise. Okay, maybe we, trade up in a car. We, level up in our home, our rent or mortgage, right? And the convenience will creep in, like, oh, I got a raise. Let's, we should do Uber Eats more, right? Stuff like that. Not that that's an essential thing, but you know what I mean. You go to the nicer grocery stores, you splurge a little more on your need items, and it's a hard line to balance. And before you know it, this 50% turns into 60 and 70% and sometimes even more. And the reason why I know this is because that's what happened to us back in the day, right? We went from kind of a lower salary to medium salary, we'll call it, and our need items increased significantly because we had more money and we thought, oh, we deserve this or whatever. But now that you're trying to build wealth, this 50-25-10-15 rule is really going to help us maintain our lifestyle. So the goal here isn't perfection, especially with kids, right? Literally nothing is going to go perfectly, literally nothing. And you guys know that as parents, but let's be honest here. These expenses, it's hard for these not to go up, right? So the goal is to stay in control. And if we keep this category around the 50% range, it gives everything else in your plan room to work. Because if this goes to 70, all of these things shrink, and we're going to get to these in a second here. But before we move forward, I'm opening up some spots for my 6-week 1K challenge, helping you find an extra $1,000 hiding in your finances. I know it's in there. Parents, especially, this is for you. There's a lot of expenses out there happening right now. So if that sounds interesting, the 6-week money challenge, there's a link below this video if you want to go check that out. All right, cool. So we've already spent 50% of our income, right? The next 25%, this is what changed everything for me. And this is the kids part. Just they have their own bucket here. Kids, a quarter of your income. Yes, it's crazy maybe to think about, but when you go through all the expenses, like, where does this stuff actually go, right? Think about like daycare or activities or sports, clothing, random school activities, birthday parties every other weekend. My God, if I have to go to another trampoline park, I mean, they're fun and stuff, but like, my goodness. These things don't really cleanly sit in like need items or want items. Like, I don't know, we have 2 kids in daycare. Is that a need item? Is it like a want because we don't want to like watch our kids all day? Like, where does it fall? We had a really hard time. If they need extra clothes, like, I don't know, that seems like an essential thing if they grow out of their clothes, but like, is it an essential thing to, right? You get down this thing, it's like, where do you put it? So if you don't give this space in your budget, it's going to eat into the other areas. And this number isn't about being perfect, but it's just to give you a time frame or a guideline of what this should look like. So in other seasons, it might drop. So for example, one of our kids is going to start kindergarten in the fall. Holy crap. But that means that daycare expense is going away, which that's going to free up a lot for us. It's going to end up being about $1,200 a month to be able to put towards something else. So when that happens, this number is going to be able to drop, which is awesome. We will sort of reallocate a little bit more so that we can put, we still want to put money towards kids and activities and keeping them entertained, right? But we'll be able to shift that towards maybe something else down the line, which we'll be getting into in a second. Now, we've already spent 75% of our income. We have 25% left. So we're going to get into these 2 topics here. This next one here, this is for your financial goals. Okay. In this category, it's so easy to neglect, especially as a parent, right? And the reason why I hated this 50-30-20 rule from a sense of prioritization is what do you think most people prioritize when they see 50, 30, 20? They prioritize the need items, then they prioritize the want items, and then whatever's left over goes to this financial goal, right? So it's easy to think like, oh yeah, 50, 30, 20. But when life is actually happening and life is going on, this is the thing that falls off and gets neglected. And the intentions are great at the beginning of the month. You're like, oh, at the end of the month when I have all this money left over, I'm going to be putting it towards this. And then life happens, the kid stuff happens, and there's nothing here. This is the one category that you can't afford to ignore, because just because life is happening and life is occurring and it's hard, we still need to think about our future self if that's important to you, like your future goals, like saving for retirement or putting money aside for your kids, even though that's this category. But just thinking like future planning, right? So this could be things like paying off your debt, building your emergency fund, investing for your retirement, growing your net worth, like putting your money towards wealth generating assets is critical. And this is the part that a lot of people don't want to hear, right? You can do everything for your kids, but ignore this category, and you're putting a lot of pressure on your future self to be able to just figure it out. Instead of saying like, oh, this is like future me's problem, it's no, this is now me's problem, and I need to figure this out, because at some point, your kids are relying on you. And our kids are relying on us to, not only be a parent, but relying on the decisions that we're making with our money. Because at the end of the day, at some point when they get a little older, we're going to want to be passing down this knowledge and information that we have. We want to, set our kids up not only for future, like help them financially or whatever to get to a point, but we want to be able to set them up so that we don't have to keep helping them financially, right? So we want to be able to pass down these traits and these thoughts and these ideas that we have for them. But the goal is to keep the category alive. So even if it's not 10%, how do we not get this zero? How do we make this more than zero is kind of what I'm saying. Like, how do we keep the momentum and the consistency compounding, right? Because we love the idea of our money compounding, right? It's super fun, super sexy. But in order to do that, we have to be more aware of where our money's going so that we can put money towards these things. And the last 15% here, you guessed it, guys, it's for want items, okay? And these two here, feel free to swap these if you want. Like if you want the financial goals to be 15% and the wants to be 10%, feel free. I just feel like this is a very reasonable number, especially going from the 50, 30, 20 where the want items were 30. We have to make trade-offs somewhere in order to make this work, right? So that's the thought here, but feel free to swap these around. I just feel like to tell people to spend less in this category, it's just not realistic. It's not going to happen, and I get it. There's a lot of things going on. But this is truly where a lot of budgets start working or stop working. And what I see is that people not only try to increase this, or not try to, but it just happens, they slot it in somewhere else, right? They slot it in before other things, and then everything else gets pushed down, and then guess what ends up being the culprit, the thing that gets cut out? It's always the financial goals, guys. So we have to really prioritize that over the want items, and I know that can be uncomfortable. And no, this isn't me saying to stop buying Starbucks, and definitely don't stop buying Chipotle. But yeah, this is like you're eating out, your subscriptions, your random Target runs that somehow turn into $120. They have some really good snacks there, right? It's hard to not buy those snacks. This category, though, is not the enemy, right? And I feel like a lot of people blame, like, they have shame for the money that they spend. So this is not about that. This is just controlled flexibility. Because even if you feel like life is restricting and maybe you won't stick with it, the goal, again, is not perfection. It's just consistency. So if we can stay around this number, it'll make everything else work. If this balloons up to 25, guess what? 10% has to cut from somewhere, and it's not going to be coming from here because it's hard to make a change of like where you're living, for example, in a very quick time frame. You're probably not going to stop doing this because, like, I don't know, your kids need stuff, right? So guess where it's coming from? It's always going to be coming from this, and that's kind of the whole point of this video. So if you want to put this into action right away, immediately, make sure to check out the link below this video for more information on the 6-week 1K challenge to help you find your first or next $1,000 that's already hiding in your finances, and faster than you've ever done it before. So if that's interesting, you can check it out below or just watch this video right here.